Next, let's talk about the case of Brittany Trevino and Officer Patrick Akers. On September 6, 2023, Brittany Trevino was driven by Officer Patrick Akers of the New Braunfels Police Department. He was in the middle of a traffic stop in New Braunfels, Texas. Brittany had a history with Officer Akers. Several years earlier, he had forcefully detained her under questionable circumstances. Remembering this past encounter, Brittany decided to express her frustration. As she drove by, she raised her middle finger at Officer Akers. The body cam footage from that day captures what happened next. Officer Akers noticed Brittany's gesture and decided to confront her. This footage provides a clear view of how the situation escalated, but the story doesn't end there. At some point, the officers involved decided to turn off their body cameras. Thankfully, Brittany had the presence of mind to start recording the interaction on her cell phone. This cell phone footage became crucial in documenting the full scope of the encounter. Let's watch.
Boy Charles Paul 5990, Boy Charles Paul 5990.
35, 256. If it's possible, could you make my location? PD 256. Put me at the 1049 of Gardenia.
35 is on Gardenia. Next time.
Officer Akers claimed he pulled over Trevino for allegedly showing him the middle finger and not signaling while changing lanes. However, it's important to note that in the 1989 case of Texas versus Johnson, the Supreme Court's ruling protects gestures like the middle finger under the First Amendment. In Texas, there's a law against disorderly conduct, but the courts have clarified that such gestures are usually protected unless they provoke immediate violence. In the 2015 case of Brown versus Wilson, the court clarified that giving the finger to an officer, while offensive, doesn't justify charges unless it leads to fighting words. Despite these protections, the Supreme Court's 1996 decision in Warren versus United States allows traffic stops if there's objective evidence of a violation, even if the officer's motive involves other reasons. So even if Officer Akers was upset by the gesture, the stop could be lawful if there was a traffic violation, like failing to signal. However, body camera footage shows Trevino did signal, contradicting Officer Akers. If Akers had a reasonable belief of a violation, courts might still uphold the stop. Let's see.
So this is that female, Trevino. She flicks me off as I'm going back to back of my patrol car, fails to signal left hand to go into the left lane. She flicks me off, so I just wanted a second to make contact with her. How's it going? Officer Akers, New Braunfels Police Department. Okay.
I know who you are.
That's fine. Well, the reason why you being
over for flipping you off.
No, ma'am. The reason why
you are retaliating against me. You turned your sirens on and everything. Ran over here like a crazy person.
Okay. Well, ma'am, the reason why you're being contacted is you failed to signal lane change when you flicked me off.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and step out of the car. Step out of the car. I have 3 officers here.
He's hurt me before. Please don't let him.
Yeah. Would you mind, Henderson? Go ahead and detain her. In cuffs.
No, because he's been illegal to me.
Okay. All right. We'll just continue the violence. You're under arrest for failed to signal lane change.
I'm under arrest for failing to signal a lane change?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm under arrest for failing to signal a lane change?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. You guys just know this is... You guys just know it is. You guys know it is. You're under arrest. Grab my phone.
Officer Akers approaches Miss Trevino and informs her that she's under arrest for allegedly failing to signal while changing lanes. In some states, officers have limited authority to make custodial arrests for minor traffic offenses. However, Texas law is different. Even though it seems small, Texas law allows officers broad authority to make arrests based on probable cause for any traffic violation. In Texas, not signaling before changing lanes is a misdemeanor under Section 545-104 of the Transportation Code. Law enforcement officers can arrest individuals under Section 543(1) if they believe an offense occurred. The Supreme Court's rulings in 2001, Atwater v. City of Lago Vista, in 2008, Virginia v. Moore, allow arrest for minor offenses if there's probable cause, even without violating the Fourth Amendment. This means Texas could enforce arrests for minor traffic violations, despite any state laws suggesting otherwise, as long as probable cause exists.
You want me to transport, or you think better?
Yeah, Danny can do it.
Danny, would you mind just transport? You don't have to do anything else other than transport. I'll be there. PD 2B6.
Go ahead.
Can you go ahead and give me next rotational record? That female is in my custody. I believe it's going to be Brittany Trevino.
6-10, one in custody at 8:39.
Yeah, she has a driver's license, but
I'm gonna turn this off. You off?
Well, she comes down the street, comes right towards me. As I'm walking back by the car to do nothing, she flicks me off. And then as she does that, she gets on the lane, fails a single lane change. You think it's going to be an issue?
Given your history, right?
Yeah.
So any other person you would write a ticket to, right?
Yeah.
That's how you have to treat every interaction. You would normally write a ticket to this person for this, just because that in the past you've done this, this, and this, right? This is something that you would normally write a ticket for, and then what's write a ticket for.
Sergeant Scott tells Officer Akers to let Miss Trevino go, arguing that her actions usually result in a citation rather than an arrest, citing a legal precedent from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in Texas, specifically the 2021 case of Oliver v. Arnold. This case states that officials violate the First Amendment if they retaliate against someone for exercising their right to free speech. In cases involving claims of retaliatory arrest under the First Amendment, the presence of probable cause often weakens the claim, as ruled by the Supreme Court in Neve v. Bartlett in 2019. However, exceptions exist, such as when officers choose to arrest for minor offenses in response to protected speech. This exception aims to prevent misuse of arrest powers to silence those expressing their rights, highlighting the balance between law enforcement's duty and protecting constitutional rights.
Yeah. You want me to go ahead, Alicia?
Procedure for the play for Charles Paul 5990 for number 3 Volkswagen and four-door blue code.
PD 35, pencil letter. Take the handcuffs off. Alright, so let's write the ticket and go about it that way.
Sounds good.
All you're going to do is give her more ammo. Alright?
Yep.
So, write the ticket, just fill it out.
I didn't mind.
Start yours back up.
Yeah, I did.
Brittany, come here. Can you go right by the back of the car, please? So, right here, Brittany, this is going to be your citation. You're good to go. So I understand that you flicked the officer off. So my question was, did you flick the officer off?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? Had you just gone on about your day, right? Your intense hatred is causing you to do other things that is drawing attention to you. I'm not here to debate this situation with you. I watched the video. I know everything that occurred. Okay? I know about the court stuff, everything that occurred. If Officer Akers had done anything wrong, he wouldn't be here right now. Right? That's 100% true. You need to move on and not be running around flipping people off. Right? I get it. That's your First Amendment. If you want to flip people off, but what it did is it caused you to create a hazard into a traffic infraction right in front of an officer. If you choose to be defined by what happened to you in the past, then you will always continue to be that person. Regardless of what y'all's history is, you need to move along with it. Right?
The fairness of policing is being questioned. After receiving a citation and lecture from Sergeant Scott, Ms. Trevino left under unclear circumstances without contesting the ticket or indicating legal action. Officer Akers' behavior, chasing Ms. Trevino recklessly, possibly due to her exercising free speech, raises concerns. He might have even fabricated a traffic offense to justify his actions, despite Supreme Court allowances for pretextual stops. Sergeant Scott intervened before Ms. Trevino's arrest, but turned off his body camera and blamed her for future retaliation, sparking criticism. His assurance of Officer Akers' innocence seems doubtful given recent events. While Sergeant Scott prevented Ms. Trevino's jail time, he faltered in protecting her rights. Though spared jail, Ms. Trevino faced distress. Despite legal complexities, her trauma is evident. It would be wise for her to consider filing a complaint and exploring legal options.